So first question, and many folks may be asking, is why a payments company and why a mapping company are working together?
Good question. Well, I think firstly it speaks to the whole importance of collaboration. When it comes to urban mobility and improving quality of life for citizens, no one can do this alone, right? So it has to be private sector, public sector working together, as well as companies with complementary capabilities working together. And that's where we found in Mastercard clearly a world leader in their market, and a company that has a shared ambition and passion around urban innovation. So we're very proud of this partnership. Secondly, there's a more specific reason that we do a lot of work around urban mobility, creating seamless end-to-end intermodal travel experiences. And clearly, payments is an important foundation of creating that end-to-end seamless experience. So it makes complete sense.
And I couldn't agree more with that, Bart. Mastercard has been involved in projects in more than 100 cities over the last 5 years, where we've been bringing the best of digital payments technology to the people who operate transit systems, be that bus and rail, or thinking more broadly, taxi, bike share, car share. And there's a constant need in all those places to bring the world of payments together with the world of information and mapping and route planning to create synthesized and integrated experiences that just make the business of getting around cities brilliant for the consumer. I think the days where we were asking people to peer up on the map on the wall and maybe then go and check the tariff over here and figure out which platform they need to be, those days are gone. We're all carrying a supercomputer in our pocket. And those supercomputers are going to make it trivially easy to navigate cities in the future. But that is inevitably going to need a combination of location, awareness, where am I going, and paying what needs to be paid and making all those transactions on the way. So that's the urban mobility piece. I think more broadly, there's a very natural fit between two companies that can answer two different questions. The question of where am I, or where's my stuff, actually is not a long leap conceptually to questions like, what's around me that I need? Where can I buy it? If I've bought stuff, where is it? Is it on the way? So although payments and location mapping might seem on the face of it to be a long way apart, they actually are beautifully complementary when you're thinking about creating great solutions for consumers and businesses. And here and Mastercard are a terrific match, both global companies, both very much involved in being platforms and allowing companies to build solutions on top. So we think it's a great fit, and we're super excited about the potential.
Great. So I know last year Mastercard launched a global program called Citi Possible. Can you give me or us a bit more detail on what that program is?
Sure. So Mastercard has been serving governments at national, regional, and city level for many years. We've got lots of experience about how cities traditionally have gone about finding solutions to meet their pressing problems. And frankly, I think like most people in many industries, we're not convinced that the regular model of officials running some kind of formal RFP process is best for any of the parties involved. The track record delivering great solutions at great prices is not brilliant, really. So Citi Possible is an attempt to construct a more collaborative model for the dialogue between cities on the one hand and companies like here and Mastercard who bring pieces of the puzzle to co-create solutions to their pressing needs. And I think a couple of things really are worth highlighting about Citi Possible and the philosophy that it represents. One of them is it's tended to be a vehicle for cities to lead the co-creation process. Nobody on the supplier side or the industry side is speculating or guessing about what's needed. Nobody's pitching an existing solution. We're trying to create a place where city leaders can safely and expansively describe the real problems they face, with some sense that for most cities, 80% of the problems are shared. Congestion is as common here as it is in London, where I live. And then a framework in which all parties can invest time in creating great solutions and then cooperate in scaling them globally. That's what we're trying to achieve. There are some interesting parts of that around ownership of intellectual property, sharing the benefits if they could be scaled and the like that we're working through. But we're very excited by the level of interest expressed by city leaders around the world in Citi Possible. I just learned this morning that we signed up our first Brazilian city, which is great. That's a nice marker down in LAC. We've got a number of cities in North America and Europe already signed up and more on the way. And it's great to have here as a complementary industry partner in that initiative with us.
Yeah, so we're very proud of our partnership and being associated with the City Possible initiative. And what we can contribute, and this has been the Achilles heel of smart city projects, is the inability to connect data in silos. And with our open location platform, we're able to have data from a variety of sources, get it connected, and turn that into actionable insights. So this is the true co-creation that Will is referring to, where cities contribute data, we contribute data, consumers, and all of that is analyzed and managed in a scalable, secure platform where everyone, this is key, maintains ownership of their data and control of their data. So this platform, we believe, is a game changer, whereas in the past it wasn't really possible to make that data, to connect the data. Now you can actually configure it, make sense of it, and imagine this is data like real-time traffic information, information from traffic lights, crowd data, probe data from mobile phones. It could be companies that make air conditioners that have sensors and measure air quality, combining all of that into intelligence and have cities be able to take actions as a result. Solving, again, the pain points that Will talked about, and that's key, right? It's easy for tech companies to get wrapped up in the technology. Ultimately, it's how can we solve some of these pain points like congestion, water pollution, air pollution, and again, many cities have very similar issues, although they will have some specific pain points.
So, Will, do you have some concrete examples of cities that are embracing City Possible?
Yeah, our journey of this co-innovation with cities really started out with an organization called City Tech Collaborative in Chicago. Here's home city. And both here and Mastercard were members of that. And we did some interesting projects there around using incentives to adjust rider demand at peak times on transit systems. I think you've been leading work on last mile, optimizing the last mile for package delivery, which of course, a lot of that is generated by e-commerce, so we have an interest and an angle on that. With respect to other cities that have been signing up, a couple of noteworthy ones that were early expressions of interest and actually started work with us on this initiative before it was formalized and formally announced. The one that springs to mind is Amsterdam, who came to us with a project around a phenomenon called we refer to as over-tourism, which is that sense where the tourists in a city tend to cluster around the big name locations and, to be honest, in short form, really spoil it for everybody, whether that's each other and actually the residents in the city. And the good people of Amsterdam described parts of the center of the city where actually it was becoming almost a desert for the services that the residents actually needed. And so they were the ones who defined this exam question for us to co-create. And we've been working with here to sort of start constructing a platform or solution that the city can run to incentivize and encourage people to explore the rest of the Amsterdam region, which is chock full of equally good quality places to visit. You're a visitor, whether you're interested in history or culture, whatever it might be. And here is bringing really important building blocks to that.
Yeah, so obviously the good news for citizens is they're able to move around in their city again and not be in this fully congested area. Cities can better manage the traffic flows and avoid significant bottlenecks. But the nice thing also is for people visiting the city, it makes them feel like a resident. They get insight into places to visit that they probably wouldn't normally go to. So it's a win-win for everyone. And I think creating these personalized travel experiences based on whether you're traveling with a family, whether you're on business, I think that is really compelling and gives people a much better experience in visiting the city. And clearly, many of the building blocks that we offer, like the routing services, the real-time traffic, the map data, can help to make this possible. So it's a really interesting partnership, and I think it's very targeted towards a city. But again, like you said before, I think a lot of other cities have that similar problem.
Oh, yes. We hear other cities complaining about the same problem all the way around the world. I think I would probably put Venice at the top of my list as the one where the leadership of the city are suffering this in a very public and very severe way. But frankly, it is a phenomenon you observe in pretty much every city you go to, and certainly all the ones that we talk to. So we look forward to working up with both the officials who are running this part of Amsterdam's government and with here and other partners a solution, and then exploring how we can scale it and replicate it globally in a way that's a win for all parties.
So it really feels like this is just the tip of the iceberg for this partnership. So where do you think we could take this going forward?
Right. I mean, I think it comes back to my initial remark that actually location and commerce are very, very closely related. Anyone who's ever been to a dance music festival will know that there are different regions and different zones, and the price you have to pay really varies on where you're standing and how close you are to the stage. That's just one example. You can think of theme parks like Disneyland, right, where actually the places you go have a very direct correlation with the transactions you're making. And what we observe with consumers generally is they don't want this to be an active thing they're doing in the moment. The days of using pieces of paper, writing checks, using cards, frankly, they're getting behind us. How can we make this fall into the background in the digital future? And I see great opportunity to work with here to construct brilliant solutions like this in areas such as trade and shipping and supply chain, traffic management and incentivizing people to drive outside peak hours. There's a huge amount we can do in collaboration around data with cities, using OLP. And here's, core market around automotive, the number of automotive relation transactions that the driver is making every day, they're all ripe for digital transformation. So we're super excited about the potential.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more we can do. I mean, just on the last point, imagine being able to buy any product or service from the car, and then have it also be location aware or context aware. I think that's a very natural fit. But as you said, supply chain, a lot of opportunity there with retailers, manufacturing, transport, logistics. Where if you put a location stamp on everything and have a seamless payment foundation, I think that can take away a lot of the friction that still exists.
Well, great. We're going to open it up for questions from the audience. If you have any questions, please walk up to the stage. I'll give you the mic.
Don't be afraid.
So how important is collaboration in developing better solutions for cities?
I will lead out on that one. I think the suite of solutions that any one partner or one company was able to deliver cities has probably been built out now. So the new solutions that cities are going to need in the future to tackle the problems that remain, I think inevitably going to involve combinations of specialists teaming up and bringing the best of their own domains together. So I think Mastercard and here working together are a great example of that, but the set is bigger than that. There are other specialists in other domains who may well be needed to construct really world-class solutions, because the problems that cities face are intractable, and cracking them is going to involve combinations of strategies, both on the supply and infrastructure side, but also on the demand and consumer and citizen behavior side. Complexity is tough to crack on your own.
Yeah, and I think that's, you talked about the Citi Possible initiative, and I think it's exciting, apart from using technology to create, exciting new innovation, is the fact that it's a completely different selling process. Rather than trying to sell to cities, which is a challenge, and is not a pleasant experience for cities, we're now trying to see how can we co-create with cities and other tech companies. So I think that collaboration is key, and co-creation, I think, to take it a step further, is where we're headed. Does that answer your question, Anna?
Anyone else? Any more questions? Well, thank you for your time. Thanks, gentlemen. I appreciate your transparency.
Thank you very much. Right. Thank you.